better and better. And I knew that if we could keep up, like keep going up and up and up and getting better, I knew we could do good, and we did. So I hope we can do the same for the 7s.
All right, I want to give you guys a chance to tell your competitors what they should be ready for. You know, a bit of a warning message to all of them. We'll start with you, Savage. Anything to say to the other players in the lobby?
I mean, yeah, just be careful. We're gonna be on high ground, we're gonna be low ground, we're gonna be mid ground, we're gonna be everywhere. So just be careful.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right there. You got to be careful when these guys are in the lobby. You got to be careful. Look. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys put in a brilliant performance in the finals. I'll be rooting for you. I promise. I'll be rooting for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
The awareness there, they were just ahead, ever so slightly. Game hops down, finishes up the fight in a clean victory out finish.
Wir haben jetzt die beiden besten Trios in dieser Runde. Und jetzt geht's hier runter. Alpha mit der Doppel-Eliminierung.
Keiko con 10 puntos de salud, nada más. Como prometido, realmente la ventana de la ventanita del amor. Encuentra Paco Chulo, manda para el suelo, va contra otro más. Sí, señor, revienta mientras Manichi y compañía.
Look at this. We're gonna make it happen. He stopped in his tracks. I mean, man. Oh my God. Reese.
Qui prend le dégât simplement de la seule pendant que Tazen pour avancer. Tazen avec 55 points qui descend dans le jour sur la Frozen.
Tazen dropping down towards the end. There's no one left to really take him out. One edit will be another shot, another win.
Woo! What's up, Fortnite fam? Welcome to the FNCS Finals. We are here. We've done it. We've made the trip. It is time. I am so grateful to be here with every single one of you. Thank you for tuning in. Now, of course, you know we had to bring the boys along for the trip. We got Levin. We got Reese here as well, my friends. We've done it. we've made it to the finals.
Look, it's been a long journey, but it's gone by quick, right? You know how they say time flies when you're having fun. If it's your first time watching an FNCS final, if it's your last time watching an FNCS final, I can guarantee you one thing: you will leave today entertained, because we have the best players, the best talent. It's just the best of the best Fortnite, and that's exactly what you want out of the FNCS finals, and I can guarantee you're gonna get that.
Yeah, it's the best, and they've played so much to get here. They've played the 3 qualifiers, they've gone through the semifinals, so 4 heats each, they've gone through the reboot round if they've had to as well, and those games have been such high quality all the way through, and it's produced the best teams that have made it here as well. So our lobby right now is looking so incredibly stacked for this weekend, and I genuinely just want to get into the games already.
Oh man, there's so much, right? There's so much that we have to talk about, right? For viewers at home that have never seen, that you don't know, don't worry, we're gonna get you guys up to speed. But first, we got to talk about a few things before we can get there. First off, let's talk about watch.fortnite.com. It is exactly what you're viewing right now, but there's also a leaderboard on the right-hand side. So you'll always keep track of what's happening and you won't miss a beat. Watch.fortnite.com. There's also trivia. Check it out. It's dope. Now, let's talk about this crazy outfit that has just hit Fortnite for the FNCS. That's right. Major Glory has taken the scene, baby. She comes with an awesome back bling, and there is a brand new lobby track that is, you just have to check out. I mean, you got a little snippet of it there, and of course, it's insane. It's going to be leaving after the FNCS, so make sure you at least check it out. Decide what you want to do there. Okay, let's talk about the tournament format. So, you guys that are brand new, check this out. We started with an open qualifier round. We had 3 rounds of qualifiers. You can see there in the bottom left. Last weekend, we came from semifinals and then a reboot round. Now, this means that today and tomorrow, 2 days of finals, 6 games, both days. It's going to be insane, Levin.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely unreal. And look, how did players actually get here, right? Because we have 33 teams competing in the lobby today. 2 trios came from last season's finals. It would have been 3, but one of the top 3 teams decided to disband. We'll get to that, I'm sure, throughout the day. Nevertheless, though, there were 3 qualifying weeks as well. The top 3 teams from each week qualified through. Half of our teams, or just over half of our teams, made it through the semi-finals. And then there were 4 spots up for grabs in the reboot round, which is an always exciting event to watch. And of course, that made it 33 teams who will be competing, like you said, Zeke, over the course of the next 2 days for one thing, right? They all want that one thing, the Axe of Champions, that first place prize.
Yeah, and across the 2 games, like I said, 12 games total, 6 games each day. And this is what they have to actually be able to do, right? In their games, they have to get these points somehow, and this is it. As soon as you get to that top 24, that's when you get your first placement threshold. You're going to get 5 points then. As soon as you get up to that top 17, every single threshold since, you're going to get more and more points until you get to that first place, the big victory round, every individual match, and you're going to get 30 points overall. So each elimination also being 2 points total. So it's going to be a big balance between the teams you're just going to see at the top of your leaderboards are going to get a lot of those top 10s where you're going to get 16 or more placement points and tons of eliminations too.
That's right. And of course, we can't forget there's finals, there's money, and of course, the Axe of Champions. Now, really quickly, let's dive into the specific pricing of Europe here. That's right. $300,000 for the trio that walks away, the FNCS Trios champion. But everyone who has made it this far will walk away with something. Now, the most important thing is the Axe of Champions. That's right, an in-game pickaxe that I myself forged after being abducted by aliens. They chauffeured me around the cosmos, and eventually we ended at a black hole. Within the black hole, the gold. From there, I took it. I said, friends, I have to go back home. I have to forge the Axe of Champions. They returned me home. I forged it, entered into Fortnite, and now the champions will walk away with this pickaxe in their inventory. This is all fake, by the way. Let's take a look, though, because we took a look at the 7 regions that are going head-to-head. We can take a look at 2 of those regions specifically that are already wrapped up their first day of the competition, their first 6 games. Let's take a look. It's Asia. It's OCE. Now, the stat lines, don't be alarmed, okay? These are kind of insane. Starting us out, though, 218 points on just day number 1.
Yeah, for Muro's team, that is absolutely insane. Obviously, they've gained themselves a huge lead over Demon's team, currently in 2nd place right now, and they have an average eliminations of 6 Oh, sorry, 8.5. I was going to say 6.5 and say how crazy that was. That would still be the higher than everyone else in the lobby. 8.5 per game, which is nuts. That's if you don't know anything about how many eliminations each team normally gets per game, 8.5 is crazy, but no victory royale. So these guys have been playing that kind of classic low to mid ground play style, which, you know, I think we'll see a lot of that today. If anything, this leaderboard shows what we're going to see in kind of EU and all the other regions too.
Yeah, let's take a look down at Oceania as well, because that region has also wrapped up its day one, and even more spectacular things being seen, Resub. Look, we got Vortex, Jace, and Tayson in first place after day one. Potentially not the only Tayson in first place after day one. We'll see. Look, these guys won 2 of their games, right? And, you know, again, crazy sort of eliminations. They had an average eliminations of 8.17, more than anybody else by quite a bit. And look, you know, with arguably the best team in this region leaving, right? Muslu and Speedy, they weren't here this season. It's left, you know, the table open for anyone to go and really snatch that crown. And you can see a lot of these top teams are looking to try and get it. They have another day, of course, but after day one, you know, some interesting stuff nevertheless.
Yeah, and what was crazy actually is Jink, Alec, and Worthies, like, they didn't get a game that was worse than 8th place. So they've been super, super consistent, but still didn't manage to beat out Vortex's team. Or that's just how good they've been doing overall, which is pretty impressive. So day 2 tomorrow, I'm sure will be really good for those guys.
That's right. Now we got to keep the day 1 talk here for some of our trios. So let's actually revisit some of the trios coming out of qualifier 1, 2, and 3 and champions from last season. These crazy trios that are coming in super strong. We're starting this off. We got Benji, Fishy, Shadow, and Joe.
Yeah, of course, Benji, Shadow, and Joe. Benji Fishy, one of the biggest name players in all of Fortnite. He's playing with Shadow and Joe this place in qualifier 1, and I'll tell you what, nobody really expected it. Unless you're a massive Benji fan, you wouldn't have been expecting it, right?
Yeah, and it's kind of the same thing happened when it came to qualifier 2, you know, with Red Rush and Mappy's team, where they came first. And again, I don't think anyone was predicting them necessarily to place first in this qualifier, but they played so well. You know, they were doing a really, really good job fighting the Loot Boys off Spawn, who have also managed to qualify through here today as well, but obviously from a different qualifying week. So I want to see how they're going to do this week, changing the drop spots. And our qualifier 1 winner and our qualifier 2 winner, being both Benji's team and then Red Rush's team, are actually contesting each other, interestingly enough, this week. So, you know, we may not see a reflection of that and both of them being up in first.
Of course, and look, a team who I think many people did expect to qualify through the weeks, and Alex, Forzia, and XWeez, a team that is somewhat newly formed, right? This season is the first season they're playing with each other as a trio, and boy, did they impress in qualifier 3. They had a bit of a stinky time in qualifier 2, we'll be honest, but qualifier 3 came round and they put on an absolutely unbelievable performance. Unplayable on the day, a better, you know, qualifying performance that we've seen from anybody in all of this season.
Yeah, they literally played better than anyone who's made it through to this final so far. So technically, they've had the best performance out of anyone who's playing in the lobby today, which is so crazy to see, right? Their performance that day was nuts. I am a little bit worried about how they're going to end up playing this time with their different drop spot being potentially contested too. But moving over to our previous and current FNCS champions, Queasy, Trulex, and Juriki as well. You know, we haven't seen these guys all season. There are so many things I want to say about this team in terms of like how many high ground teams there are going on right now, right? Like how many potential play styles that these guys have. Can they play that low to mid ground? There's a lot left open, and we have to answer these questions throughout the next 12 games.
Yeah, of course, we got to give them their flowers. They are the reigning FNCS champions. And, you know, you take a look at some of these things here. The average placement in Chapter 2, Season 6 during set lobbies was 7.5. That's essentially, you know, when we're looking at, you know, round 4s in the qualifier weeks, as well as the semi-finals and the finals. An average placement of 7.5 is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And on top of that, look, their high ground win rate. So potentially in these set lobbies, once they took high ground, they won 80% of their games. And remember, this was like a real focus for them when it comes to their general play style, usually taking it around 4th or 5th zone, maintaining it all the way through to the end game. And if they manage to play that successfully, 80% win rate. The problem is actually taking it is the difficulty given the standard of lobby we have. We'll get to later how many high ground teams there actually are right now. So interesting. Not only that, with so many top teams, they've also managed to get in that time 38 eliminations against the players who were in the top 10 last season. So basically, they had the most eliminations against essentially the hardest teams, right? You know, the biggest teams, the biggest names, they were super easy and able to knock them out better than any other team.
I think the question that is sort of on the cards for everybody, and if you're watching at home and you're thinking, okay, these are the reigning champions, or what does that mean for them today, is a repeat on the table for them. And of course, you know, it's the FNCS finals, you almost never know. It's a possibility. You look at last season to this season, not much has necessarily changed that would make you think they can't go back and win it again. They probably aren't the favorites, right? There are some teams who you're probably stacking above them, But, you know, we know these guys can come on and put on a show. They've literally done it before. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare today.
I mean, firstly, let's be real, right? They can do it 100%. I love the story of a repeat champion. At the end of the day, coming back and doing it again shows just pure dominance. And I think it's just fun to watch. Let's be real, right? Secondly, there's been so many people memeing when they won. Oh, you had a rift in your spawn. You had a rift there. You could use the rift any game. It's gone this season. What are they going to do? What are the people going to say if they win 2 times in a row?
That's what you gotta do, man. You gotta silence all the haters. That's all you gotta do. I want to actually focus on one thing really quickly: the lobby list, the 33 trios we will be seeing in today's matches. Now, even outside of the entire list, just this these top 5, 6 teams, even 7, 8 teams, like this whole first page. I mean, any of these, this first page could very well walk away the champions, boys. This is terrifying.
Of course, look, you know, this is sort of the order, right, of in which teams qualified. And you look at this page of 10 teams, and yes, this could literally be the top 10 at the end of the 2 days. If you told me it was, I would probably believe you. Like, it seems believable. All of these teams are absolutely phenomenal and have played phenomenally at some point during the season. And many of the favorites, many of the people who are being predicted to win are on this page.
Yeah, I would genuinely be surprised if someone from this page didn't win. But on top of that, anyone that's out here in the 33 teams could win. You know, there's Queasy's team, the return champion, like we said, Rescar's team, who was second last season. Joe, Benji Shadow, 1 qualifier, 1, obviously alongside Aqua's team, who was in second. Hen's team, who is my personal pick to do, you know, so good going that first place slot. They're also potentially going for a second-time championship after they won back in season 5. So there's so many teams, even on this first page, that have that potential to take the first place.
Yeah, we'll get into more of them as the day goes on, I can assure you. Let's take a look at that next page, though, because, of course, you know, I think with every page, you will get a couple teams you think, you know, I could see them doing it. You look at the likes of, you know, Amplify, Matsu, and Alien, who, you know, were unlikely finalists this season. I think you look at the way last season ended for Matsu and Amplify, you thought, you know, I can't see where this is going. It looked like it was falling off of a cliff, and all of a sudden, they get back with ADN. They're back in an FNCS final. These guys have been in great form. Floki, Clement, the Sipsos, a team who we know in the past can be an elite team. Today, the odds might be against them, but of course, you can never count them out. So definitely some contenders here as well, Reese.
Definitely, indeed, right? I also see Force's team up there, the current reigning champion from Asia, who moved over and has made it through the final. So I want to see how those guys kind of pop off here when it comes to the EU region. But if we go into that final page, the last 11 teams that we have coming through here, a lot of big names that we want to look at. Pink, Nebs, and Stompy as well, who didn't make a single round 4 when it came to the qualifiers, right? But as soon as they got to their heat in that set lobby, they came first. They dominated. So they're comfort when it comes to the set lobby environment, and that's going to be super good for them. In particular, same with Safik, Default, and Putrik, the team right underneath them, the 3rd place team there. These guys are looking very strong, kind of filling that role that Thomas Fulkin and Nas usually play when it comes to dirty docks. And we'll see how that POI plays out for them in this kind of environment too.
And look, the last thing I'll say, right, is the bottom 4 teams, do not write them off. Those were the reboot round teams, the reboot round winners. And look, any of them could put in a performance. They've all shown that they can win games in high-intensity moments, and there is no moment bigger than this, right? It's the FNCS Finals, the biggest 2 days of the season, so watch out for those guys as well.
Guys, we got to move on to my favorite portion, the drawing portion. You guys love, you know that I love when these guys draw on the map. So we've actually done something a little bit different. We've put the names of the trios on the map here, so we get a very good and concise and clear understanding of what this map is going to look like for the next 2 days of competition. You know, Reese, I think one of the things that terrifies me the most about this map is now after the qualifiers, the semifinals, and the reboot, just look at the POIs. So many of these are completely uncontested. They have been what we call claimed. And that worries me because I like during this entire, and any FNCS season, really, a lot of teams struggle with Surge. And if you don't have a team that's contesting you, you're going to struggle with Surge. So what can we expect coming out of these trios? This is a little weird.
Yes, indeed. Firstly, I want to do one quick point before I answer your question. Big shout outs to FN Maxine, Jinja, and Trizon, who made the map, dropspots.pro. They basically make all the maps every single time for EU. So shout outs to them, right? They're a huge help for me personally, right? That's why we're looking at the fantastic names on screen. Okay, so you're asking Uncon, Dropspot, Storm Surge. Look, if you look in particular in this kind of top left corner, you see a lot of big teams uncontested, right? That's really difficult because they have to try and get Storm Surge on each other, essentially. So we already know Flecken's team, spoke to him a little bit earlier, said he's going to W key someone, be that him moving over to where Wings is or to where Diablo's team, his old His old teammate potentially may get the little W key and get aggressive. It'll be tough. For guys like Tayson, for them on kind of East zones, they usually like to set up in this mid-map. Noah's team is very well known for W keying teams as well. So I think we're going to see a lot of fighting. And I probably would have to fight if you're a team who spawns up in this kind of top left, right? You're probably just going to have to start fighting people, or you're going to have to rotate so early and get deeper into the zone to get tags if you're this many teams uncontested around you.
Yeah, 100%. And you look at a contrast where West is so uncontested, the East is incredibly contested. You got teams contesting, in so many of these areas here on the west side of the map. Of course, Mr. Savage, Mustache, those two trios going to be fighting it off. Not going to be too great for them. But you look at that and how it affects the teams around them. Right? This is such a good thing for teams such as the likes of Cammy, Seti, and Teak, where those guys are going to be licking their lips, right? Because if they can get involved and third party some of these fights early on in the first couple zones, it gives them such an advantage, right, when it comes to dealing with Surge in comparison to a lot of those teams over on the west side. And even when you're talking about how the east side teams, the west side teams will be affected by the east side contestation, you look at if they're not sorting out their Surge quickly, you're not going to get it deeper in, right? After the teams fight it out at their selected POIs, they're going to be scuffed, they're going to be low on loot, they're not going to want to even get a peek of anything, right? And so it makes it harder for you when you're trying to get tags on them deeper into the game. So these early game fights are going to completely sway the flow of the games and the lobby as a whole. And that's just more exciting for us.
That is going to be absolutely crazy. We don't have too long before we jump aboard the battle bus. So guys, really fast, let's shift our attention to predictions. We got to talk about which of these trios we think could inevitably walk away the new trios champions. Don't forget, 2 days of competition, 12 games total. This is the gauntlet, and Levin and Reese are in agreement. This has only happened a number of times across FNCSs, but right now you guys agree. It's Hen, Janice, and Chapix.
You said it's only happened a number of times. The last time it happened during the FNCS finals, Reese, remind me what happened, please. I may have forgotten.
I'll remind you, don't worry. I'm gonna rewind my brain a second. 2 seasons. I only work in Fortnite seasons, apparently. We go back. Me and you both predict Hen, Janice, Chapix to win. Guess what? They take number 1. They all hold that axe of champions. Here we go again, the repeat. Me and you both predicting them yet again. Look, we know what's gonna happen. Okay. We're feeling it right now.
It was just confirmed. Shire's gone with no right leave deal and Aqua, which is an incredibly solid pick. Aqua is back. He's back at the top of his game, and he's got 2 incredible players alongside of him. Probably the best high ground team in the lobby, if we're being real.
Yeah, and arguably another one of the best teams, Tayson, Vino, and Reason. Tayson looking to go for his 4th. Oh, it's crazy when I say that. 4th FNCS championship title alongside Vino and Reason, who have been playing so good this season. I think it's a 5th, a 4th, and a 2nd in the 3 qualifiers. So in set lobbies, these guys have just shown the consistency. Doesn't matter who's in their lobby, who they're against. They can play so well. And it's going to be a battle for first.
I love how you say that, right? Tayson, they're going for his 4th. Some people are trying to get 1. Some people are going to get 1. He's going for his 4th. Madness.
Absolute madness. Guys, you see, we're about to get going here on the battle bus. We have very high expectations for the next 6 games. I'm so sorry. Don't forget, watch.fortnite.com, another great place to do what you're doing now. Also, bus drivers, just let me know, we have activated drops, so a great place to catch some of those. But okay, we're going to go meet with our casters. We got Shy Wager, we got Sancho, so your eyes in the sky. So boys, let's kick off the finals.
Thank you so much, Zeke, Levin, and Reese. The hero's journey has one constant, and that's hardship, right? Week after week, we've seen these guys battle it out. 33 teams of heroes now are here today to try to become champions, legends. Welcome to the FNCS Finals.
And it's all going to happen in this weekend, 12 game sets. And you talked about heroes. You talked about being 33 trios of heroes, but there's only going to be 3 standing tall at the all said and done. And right now, defending the crown is Trulix, Jerky, and Queasy. And this is going to be quite difficult for them, considering not a lot of people are predicting them to do it again, Shio.
Yeah, a little bit different from last season and now, but you see the way they've kind of adapted. Even just today, overall, I wasn't even expecting them to be this far away from their POI. 33 teams landed on the island. This is game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, and we barely even have any action so far, though. Benji gets a big quick splash. Is also lickety split, just taking out people off spawn. Queasy, though, the reigning champions, they take a bit and just farm up.
Already we're seeing Wings out there in the Deep Woods Dish taking out a knock on Matzo in Pleasant Park. Benji picking up a knock against the Stereo team down in Corning Complex. So already knocks are happening, confirmed eliminations are happening as the Asian champion from FNCS Force gets an elimination there on Zebre. So, Shio, this is what we're talking about here. Those early fights are happening all over the place as Flownet confirms the elimination on Matzo. You gotta watch out for Wings, Flownet, and Carmi out there in that Deep Woods Dish. They came out in first place in their heat, and they could be a surprise here in the finals.
Absolutely, many surprises can happen. Just remember, though, if you're just tuning in, if you missed the desk a little bit, we are going to be watching for over 2 days, 12 games, 6 a day. Have some of the best competitors. I haven't seen Benji in a while, Sancho. Nice breath of fresh air once again. Watching the classics who qualified in the earlier weeks. Run it up one more time in the finals.
Benji Fishy, last appearance was in season 5 of chapter 2 with alongside of Matzo and Amplify. That was the team that we had a nice honeymoon period. Season 6 last season didn't turn out so well for Benji, and Benji was unable to make it to these set lobbies. So right now, all the Benji fans are excited to see what they can do. Of course, Joe and Shadow last season were stompy, and hey, they were very aggressive at height. Question will be for this trio is, can Benji, Shadow, and Joe execute height when there's so many other people up there? But hey, here we go. Savage, Resguard, and Dredda going up against Malbugus trio.
Yeah, this is kind of like the main title card match we were waiting to watch at Steamy Stacks.
Oh, yes.
Savage, obviously, second place from last season, right behind Queasy just by a few points. Rolls in with the trio that's been landing here for so long, Refs Gordon and Dredda. So when Malabuka ends up qualifying all the way towards the end, you know, through those semifinals, rolls in. And then now you see these guys just, you know, going at it against each other. Pleasant Park, too. A little bit of lootage happening here.
Yeah, it looks like Matzo's trio there is down 2 people. It's a solo out there. Now, I'm expecting eventually when it gets into the later stages, Shio, I'm expecting him, Janice, and Chapix to rotate their way through. As you were seeing, actually, they've been fully confirmed. Upperfly, ADN, Matzo, fully eliminated. Red Rush, Asterios, and Mappy lose their first engagement in Corny Complex. And Sai, Minkup, and Zebre are out as well.
So a few of those trios just missing already. They'll be able to fix things up and come back. It's just the first game.
Yep.
Everyone's kind of feeling at the field, looking at exactly where things are happening. Back to that Steamy Stacks engagement. I feel like that's where things will really get, you know, busted and going. These guys actually choose to completely disengage. I don't think that fight went all the way through. I haven't seen any of the names go down in the feed. Savage, Refsguard, and Dredda Sancho, you know, up until 2 weeks ago, up until the last game of heat number 3, they were just expecting to have a free POI entirely. Malabuka rolls in with a crazy clutch in the final moment, the last zone, obviously, to basically clinch the qualification. And now these guys are going to be in trouble for 12 games in a row.
And if you missed out last season, Savage came in second place and had a great run against our champion, defending champion, Queasy Trio. Hey, if you look at the stats between those 2 trios, Shio, it literally was exactly the same when it comes to elimination and placement. What did it boil down to? 2 victory royales that Queasy Trio was able to get in day 2 and overtake Savage. Now, if you're a Savage fan out there, you have to be happy that they're not out and that they disengage. They have to get it, all their resources, get back up. If you're more fans of Analyx, though, this is where you have to be worried.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of trouble that we were expecting. Might not be the exact team, but here we go. X Squeeze 4-0 and Alex. Might not be off spawn, but these guys are definitely clashing. Kazix looking for his first taste of any body shots. This fight not going to happen. X Squeeze is too good with the builds. They're going to be going all the way towards the skies. Falconly, though, already down. 4-0 takes him out. And now Andalex and Squeeze, they're there. A full wipe. Don't make a mistake. And I feel like everyone's down. That was so fast. Clinical, clean. No one on Analex's team took any damage.
Very nicely done. Usually that is not a detour when they get into a set lobby. They've already rotated usually about the 9-minute mark. They're already towards the center of the map. But so these are what we're seeing. ZQ, not slated to land there at all, has changed his drop spot. So we've got to keep an eye on that development as we're seeing now a new kind of a temporary king. I don't know what you call that. Sapphic, Patrick, and Default here using the old school, I guess the dirty docs of, I hate to say it, of Thomas Stacey and Nazi Flick. It breaks my heart when I got to bring that up because they're not here today.
Yeah, if you're watching FNCS for the first time, there used to be a team that lands exactly where the POV of the top right teams is landing here for multiple seasons. That's Thomas, Anas, and Flick. This season, unable to qualify for the finals. This new trio, the Centric Cyber Legend combination, ends up taking over the POI. We'll see what they can do today. It's very strong, and Thomas's team in the past has been very close to even winning FNCS's. It'll be their first run here in the finals out of this spot.
All right, here it is. Zone 1 has been revealed. Actually, this is actually Zone 2 that's been this is Zone 1, I'm sorry, but I'm just getting ahead of myself because I'm thinking about who has the advantage here, and that is definitely going to be Aqua. Aqua is going to have a huge advantage of that. Those green arrows you see on the left side, right near Believer Beast, that is Tayson's trio, but you have to look dead center right there at Boney Burbs. That is Aqua's trio going to be standing strong. So this is going to be quite interesting, and no doubt, if the pink arrows are way up there, that has to be Hen, Janus, and Chapix, who are kind of coming or making this rotation from the dead side coming down into the south. So that's what's developing here. Zone 1. This is going to be a nice opportunity for those northern to center trios to get a huge amount of points on the leaderboard, Child.
Now, when it's a zone like this, a lot of the teams that have POIs uncontested, there was a stat on screen earlier as well, have a huge advantage to move out, do what they need to do. When it's a north zone here too, looking at the rivers, the trees, small hills, it's very easy to end up controlling large quadrants of the map. You can't really do that as well at the south. Mountains are a bit too big. You can take shots at a lot of people, but you can't really stop them from pushing up near you. You can see though, Sapphic, Futric, Default, no one's really super based up beside them. The closest trio, which is Ref's Guards, it's actually pretty far away, so they get to do what they want to do when they end up moving out from here, and that's kind of replicated all throughout the map. Malabuka's trio right there you see on screen have the entire barn, all of Orchard to themselves, and right now Void, Karma, Fastroki, they roll in what is now Boney Burbs a little bit after off spawn. See what they can do from here.
I have a question for you. When it comes to those three trios, do you see them being much more aggressive during the rotations? Like, they didn't really get that many tags. So you have uncontested dirty, you have a split happening in Steamy Stacks. If no big trades are happening when it comes to elimination, Shio, that just means they're going to be much more aggressive in the rotations, and that just means more chaos will happen on that side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, why would they be aggressive though, right? That's the first question we have to answer, because in Fortnite Battle Royale, when it comes to competitive, Storm Surge is the thing. If you're also watching for the first time today, what this basically means is that a lot of the teams who are playing are gonna have to deal damage, or the server starts to shoot lightning down on them for being a little bit too passive. That's what Sancho's talking about. A lot of these teams haven't really been shooting sniper shots. If you listen for a second, you're not really hearing any ARs or shots to be taken around the field. A lot of these teams now will be forced to attack each other, look for openings just a little bit, because that is kind of the cycle of gameplay, right? You just watched a bunch of off-spawn fights happen. In the mid-game, it's all about making bases, taking shots. And then it's the end game of Fortnite, the chaos going for the win. Chulex and Void, they might look at each other to take those shots, might not be looking for full elims right here, but any damage they can do, making sure to knock off those shields, keep up that number, the threshold, so don't fall below everyone else around them.
Now we're pushing down south to all the trios landing in south as Malabuka gets knocked. Blueback's in trouble right here, down to 35 HP. These are the engagements that you're going to see throughout the entire weekend. And we're going to take an closer eye on what engagements are going to happen and what adjustments will be made. Kylie, Aware, and Blueback right now. Camp Cod, that's not an easy rotation. You're just seeing how difficult it can be. And these pit stops, dipping into the heals, dipping into the resources. And so you can see, Analyx 4ZR, they already had an engagement. They're a little bit of wounded, but it's still a change, like one of those dangerous trios out there who are going to definitely utilize that permapad. But it looks like 4ZR and Analyx are going to try to get out via the IO vehicle. And there's still one solo underneath this entire engagement, just hiding out.
Trying to see what they can do when it comes to Bluebach, Kylie, and Aware. These guys also rolled in from the semifinals. Overall, close to the top of their heat. That means, it took them a little bit of a while to get things rolling. A lot of people who rolled in through qual weeks are kind of the stronger trios who took control of everyone around them. These guys, although they played very well, they weren't as, in terms of qualifying for the finals, up against some of the best trios in Europe. Right now, facing a much harder lobby, facing legends. They have to really switch up their play style. Yes, they get aggressive. They like to latch onto a few trios, bully them as they go across, and try to push everyone away. That might not be possible when you're up against the best of the best.
Matt, that was a very smart disengagement from Analyx. As you see, they are taking a pit stop in the pit of the aftermath, considering that they have to work really hard to get back those resources that they use in that engagement with ZQ's trio. And you're seeing Blueback, Kylie, and Aware doing really well with the Storm Surge. It's been revealed 16 people have to go down here, and they're about 200 plus over. But this is what I'm talking about. When you're Analyx's trio, they don't want to be anywhere near that. When you see how well they do when they get those top placements, they're already gone. They're already closer, especially on the North Zone. They're already zooming on there by the close of Zone 1. So considering that they're zone behind where they want to be, have to keep an eye on that.
Absolutely. Positioning is a big thing right now, though. That threshold, the big pop-up right above the mini-map on the bottom right of your screen, that's the focus for every team. You want to make sure you're at least 200 to 300 above the damage threshold right now. And Dread Savage Ref Squad, they started 33 below, but they are really ramping up both the action and the damage. Make sure, though, you don't fall into that temptation, right, Sancho? Because right now, yes, you're beaming lots of people around you. You still have to keep track of these zones. They are going to be getting smaller and smaller. You're going to have to be moving, changing up your safe bases. Sometimes people focus way too much on the shots and then lose their positioning.
Malibuko already got knocked in this match, so his resources are going to be limited. And you got to know that him, Janix, and Chapix are the stronger trio out of that bunch, considering they had an uncontested Craggy. So they're going to have the power weapons. They're going to be vibing. As you see, Toos and Stormrite coming all the way from Slurpy Swamps here in the feed, getting some knocks. But here it is. Fast Roki, Void, and Karma, only 16 above. So look for them to be very aggressive against Toasty, who's right a layer down below. So this is a very crucial engagement, considering that 13 people have to go down. And they have to deal with the pressure of a lot of trios looking into this engagement as Cheek gets knocked in the feed.
Yeah, a lot of the time you saw Savage kind of civilized, just going for a few shots, editing a wall or two. Over here, the fights get primitive. You end up getting closer to people's walls, desperate, looking for shots. Time's running out 32 below the threshold now. T-Chips is down, taken out. A nice tag, 33. Get these guys to what would be one above. Fast Roki, wow. But now Storm Surge is active. You'll watch the lightning strike in just a little bit of a moment. This is a timer that's run out for Fast Roki, Void, and Karma. They need to hit these shots, and they do, but they're barely teetering over that line. It looks like they finally get one person down towards the ground over there, but now it's Andalex's trio that might be the next target.
Fast Roki, Void, and Karma are trying to get into a great position, considering they changed their drop spot.
Oh, no.
And now they're going to have to work as they do Void and Fast Roki. Look at this. The HP is not there. They're in a huge disadvantage. The position is in shambles. The only saving grace that they have right now is the focus is not on them. But here is Andalek, a squeeze 4ZR, about to wash over this engagement. Elder and Rotary there are just in between them, just giving that barrier buffer for Fast Roki and Void to get up into a decent fighting stance. Elder takes a huge 53 tag. He's going to retreat back to Rotary, but this might be dangerous because Fast Roki and Void, they're going to keep pushing in, and all of a sudden, 4ZR's trio is right there to greet them. Look at them. 4ZR's is working the way right underneath.
Just trying to look for it, but this is what I was talking about when it comes to, you know, looking for damage and trying to balance that with position. These guys have been so lost in the sauce. There's 10 seconds left now to move into the zone. Every other team that's kind of been clean so far and have taken over their tactics, strategies, they're already inside waiting for Void and Fast Roki to rotate in late. This is trouble, and they're a whole teammate down, Sancho. That's 500 less builds, 5 less inventory slots, and a lot of firepower they're missing.
Yeah, exactly. They're totally different from when they were at strength during the semifinals and qualifiers. When they're operating from a power POI, I mean, they were able to put up double-digit eliminations in Victory Royale. They were able to get into the finals with a huge double-digit Victory Royale at the last minute there. So that is what they're working with, and that is kind of like the power they have behind the trio. But you're just seeing, when it comes to being wounded along the way, you just lose so much resources, and you're weaker. You're susceptible for being eliminated quickly.
It's so hard to move inside these grand finals as well. Elder finally goes down. Shizo picked up by Andretta towards one of the sides of the map as well. Chapix, Janice, Hen having trouble. Some of the predictions to do so well today take the whole competition over both days as well. They have launched over the river.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's safe. You must put it down now. A lot of the times these teams save the launch pad for a further zone, but if you don't play the one you're in, you're not going to make it. You know, you might get sent all the way home. So it's smart for them to use the resources, do what they need to do. And it's the same thing that Void and Fast Roki are doing. Might not be completely in zone, but they're looking for something. They need to refresh, they need to balance out the scale. So they're going to bully Rotary here all the way across, but it's too far to really get those mats after the fact. They'll try to move off as well. Storm Surge is still going to be going on in the background too, so every team still has to be doing lots of damage.
Now the question will be is if being uncontested this time around, no doubt Janice Han and Chapix, they are the heavy favorite for the analyst desk. Both analysts of Levin and Reese picking them to go all the way through. They were a big favorite last season. They just were contested so many times. They won about 10 out of the 12. Basically, they were just unstoppable. But every time they walked out of that engagement, Shio, they were greeted by open arms from Vidil, Reason, and Nora Riley, and they were quickly eliminated. So it's just showing you the power that they do have. But let's see what they can do. I have no elimination just yet, but just wait for them to get to endgame.
Absolutely, those guys are a complete powerhouse. 10 takes out Ref's guard somewhere. Right now we're watching 7 Tour, also in a world of hurt. He's pushed back into the storm. Look at his HP bar ticking down. You can't stay here for too long. That missed edit will also cost him about 15 HP. Being from the left side, this is trouble. My man is dipping into the cabbage patch to try and stay alive. It's not going to be possible. 7 Tour, lobby focused and taken out.
He gets hooked off the stage, and what I'm kind of surprised about the most is Fesroki and Void now operating as a duo. We've been watching them this entire way. We've been keeping track of their trek across the map here from the south side, and they're just still on their feet, and they're just finding opportunities there. That's going to be some resources to be able to get right there, but I don't know how much gas is in this tank because I feel like they're running on fumes.
Absolutely. We're watching the survival game across the edges of this zone line, but let's look at the Titans right now in the lobby that have position or closer towards the north. Benji, Fishy, Shadow, Joe, no one really that damaged at all. I think Shadow might just need a little bit more shields, but he's going to be looking good. These guys and a bunch of the trios we're about to be checking in with, they're ready to win this game. They're ready to take control of what they have. They're not just, on the back foot at all.
That was a great rotation. Look, there's not a lot of trios in this path here. They need to continue on. That is what everybody's doing. Here it is. It's still game 1. Everybody jockeying position, as Shio said. They're trying to get those crucial knocks and maybe refreshes along the way. But Booback won't be able to join the dance. His music has stopped as Kylie and Aware here now get the lobby focus, and the fire is raining down on these builds here. Luckily, a lot of hard mats were expended here on the defensive hold, so the fire won't spread out. But you got to be careful because the grass itself, you see it could catch a blaze.
Yeah, Rotary taken up by FSI on one of the sides. So once again, a little bit of a replay of how those semis ended up going. The finals now, though, a completely different game. Kylie Aware, another duo we're watching. It's going to be trouble for them in this zone. Once it locks in a second, we'll see exactly where everyone has to go. It's towards the south side. So all the planning these top teams had to stay towards the north, they get pulled maximum ways towards the other side of the map. And look at that. Aqua, Vidil. I mean, these guys all the way up on height with Noah Riley, they're looking really good in the way they're going to be attacking things. Already on high ground, 2 is competing for it too. They're all going to have to move, though, and set up a new base here. While Rifla and Astro, they're in trouble.
Also as well, Janice did get knocked here, but the focus here is on Rifla. The lobby focus, the spray as Chapix returns the favor and gets an elimination on Savid. So now it's Rifla and Astro here colliding with the Season 5, Chapter 2 champions, and they decide enough is enough. The water was a little too hot, and they move on through, and they sit right on top of Clement's trio as the zones are moving in. This minute right here, this rotation is going to be a make or break for a lot of trios. As you see, they're not safe pinned, but the one thing I got to keep an eye on is the left side of Benji, Shadow, and Joe. Remember, their truck wasn't that much, and they do have a vehicle here. I expect them to be in this end game.
Yeah, they might be, but there's a big traffic jam on that right side. Lots of different trios try to make their way, and it's difficult. All their mats should be down. At the same time, a majority of these guys have jumped the curb. They use launch pads to get all the way in. They don't want to drive by and be able to get affected by Benji or anyone inside those trucks at this point, or even rotating in on ground.
I'm taking a look at height. The deal is there's been a big contest because 2 Sekirachi are right there. We saw them vying for height. Look at Rifla's POV right on the right side. He's in a cone looking in. You're seeing what's happening here. I don't know. Aqua's trio, they've basically been tweeting out on social media 12 for 12 on height, 12 for 12 on height. They're always going to be there. So the question can be is will they have the ability to hold, considering there's 5 or 6 trios that tend to contest height? And at the same time, folks, that launch pad's at play and things get messy when you're holding on height. Now, first moving, Zone 6 has been revealed, and I'm thinking there's really not an advantage here. We'll see how the people who have been fighting for height adjust.
3 different layers to worry about. High ground can have the most control and can dominate the lobby. commandeer anyone. There's a big boss fight happening with Hen and Janice, so they're trying to get things started. As that goes through,
That's not getting chopped.
The high ground with Aqua, that is definitely not getting challenged. They've overbuilt all the way across. It's full metal and it's fully built too. At the same time, it's a max pull for these guys, it looks like. So anyone that's launch padding earlier or even just slightly later can jump on their builds and take over. Might be a trap they're setting too.
Hen, Janice, and Chapix have been eliminated. They are out of this fight here. Game 1 won't feature them in the top 17. That's just crazy.
One game of a mistake. It's all good, though. A big bait is Noah Riley and Vidil. Just actually launch pad all the way away. It looks like there's another team that takes height as the entire moving zone starts. So we're gonna have to take a little bit of a pit stop and get up there afterwards. Not used to being on mid ground. We'll see exactly how Aqua fears and kind of commandeers here. At the same time, they want to be all the way on height. They want to have control. They'll probably go for it again. It's two Scariachi and Stormy Right who push up again, but they're up against Benji Fishy, and it looks like one person gets dropped into a box. They take him out fast, and now Benji showing Shadow. They might have a chance to go take over high ground.
Lurking right there at second from height, it is Trulix. They're right there, and they're biting for time as you're seeing the zone kind of bounce back just a little bit. So this is going to be a big build fight as Tooth gets hit. 84, he's going to give it up. He's going to move on through, and that could be Joe, Shadow, and Benji now holding height here. And Storm Surge has been revealed. 12 people have to go down, and yes, it is Benji, Joe, and Shadow on height.
All the chats across the world are probably super hyped right now for Benji, Joe, and Shadow, always wanting these guys to do so well inside the finals. They have that chance, but Trulex, Jerky, Queasy, no strangers to winning that first game. They're going to be the next challenge to overcome.
Shadow's going to be a big factor here. He's on the front side of the storm here, on the front side, just trying to make sure he finds connections. But right below, it is Trulix's trio. They're still there. And Benji, armed with this dangerous rifle here, sending beams. There's a pad. Oh, there it is. Queasy with the pad play. Joe, Benji are trying to put a defense to stop him right there. But here it is. The rest of the defending champions going to push Benji, Show, and Shadow down into the madness.
Queasy was just a distraction. Trulex goes all the way up from the other side and takes it all the way to the top.
Oh,
now
no.
Down to Two's revenge there as Benji goes down. This is absolute tragedy for the trio that just looked like the best one in the lobby. Trulex, Queasy, Jerky, they're not done with winning the last FNCS. They want to win game 1 in this one as well, up against Centric and the CL combination. They're going for height too. They've done it in semis and qual weeks. They're trying to do it again. Shadow as a solo is lost towards the very low portions of elevation right now, up against the hill. Can't really build this way. He's trying to get something done. Trulex though, he's on height, still has a fight, and Queasy is there too. Jerky's still alive, and they can still reign as a trio, stopping another push.
You have to watch out. Aqua's trio is still a trio at full force, and look at the eliminations happening from them. And Trulix and Jerky, they get a confirm on Joe and Sapphic here, but I got my eyes. Yes, there it is. The fight at height. 12 for 12. You thought we're not going to go away. We're back, baby, with the vengeance. And Queasy and Trulix are knocked. Now Jerky's the last one standing, and it's Vidil, Aqua. They're sitting on height, and they have it. They have it.
It's winners versus legends, and the legends pull through on height once again. You can see it in Aqua's name. He always wants to be here. Now it's about giving it away, dropping down, putting the pressure in. Remnants of previous trios who've been denied a pass to play in game 1 get taken out. It's Noah Riley with the final elimination, and Aqua alongside Vidil to win out that first game.
10 eliminations in the victory out in the big 5-0, big 50 on the board. Hey, man, we already seen it back last season in NA East. When you make a social media post like Reverse and you say, hey, man, I'm going to win this. And when you make a social media post and saying you're going to be 12 for 12 on height, you better come on through. And that's what Aqua, Noah Riley, and the deal just did.
Yeah, I'll leave you with this right now. Expect the unexpected in this FNCS. There's too many teams that do not want to give up height and are not going to go down easy. Aqua is just one of them. Benji tried this game and almost had, a repeat of a game 1 win with Trulex's trio. So Sancho, anything could happen in these next 11 games.
Yes, I have to say this real quickly. Queasy's trio always wins game 1. Not today. It's been changed.
Not today.
Not today. We're going to get a further breakdown from the analyst desk with Levin, Reese, and Zeke.
Gentlemen, I cannot deal with what is going on right now. This is not what I would have ever anticipated. Levin, in the back, we're losing our minds. you observe that Aqua is going up, and your first words were, this guy is crazy. He's going for it. And this trio just pulled out the win.
These guys are the real deal. You know, I think you look at what they do, and it's so relentless. It doesn't end, and that's why, you know, I'm saying he's not all right, because genuinely, you know, these guys tried to get high earlier, didn't go well, and you think to yourself, okay, you tried your best, but you know, you give it up now. You see him going back up for it, and it works out, and they win the game, and it's like, you know, if they're going to be playing like this, there's nothing you can do about them. If genuinely this is what they're going to do over the next 12 games, you can't stop them. They will just relentlessly go for height, and they will continue until they have it. And if they're hitting shots like that, they will get it, and then they will win. So, yeah.
But here you go. This is what that shows me is that they're calculated, because they had height. They realized that Kyriachi's team took it early on in that 6th zone, the first moving zone. They saw Kyriachi's team had claimed it. So they said, you know what, we're just going to give you. We're going to play low ground. We're going to wait until we see an opportunity, and we're going to take it up. That opportunity was actually predicted by Noah Riley on Twitter, right? Aqua says, we're going height 12 out of 12 games. Noah Riley comes on with a little tweet. He says, watch out for the Sapphic strat. Go on to height and be eliminated, right? And unfortunately, we did see basically exactly that early on, as once Queasy's team had taken it. So they've predicted it. They're calculated in the play style. They absolutely executed. And look, I'm excited to see how that continues throughout the day.
That's their high ground trigger, right? He's looking at the elimination feed. As soon as Sapphic gets eliminated, yep, we got to build up for height now. Madness.
So crazy, guys. Let's take a look at some of the replays that Reese and Levin have pulled to kind of better tell the story of game number 1. What a banger!
Yeah, I mean, game number 1 was an absolute banger, and Benji Fish's team off the rip just absolutely flatlined through Exterios' team. Like, it was a pure 50-50, right? This is not what you ideally will see straight away in these kind of contested fights where teams just land all on the same house. They didn't want to split. They wanted 50-50, and Benji's team just came out on top.
Yeah, look, you know, we talked a lot about the Osborne stuff, right? Ezekiel absolutely getting put through the win cycle. Look, we talked about how these fights are going to take quite a long time, and that's going to be good for the teams around them to get involved in third fight. If these fights are going to go on for so short amount of time, these teams aren't going to be able to get involved. They're not even going to get a lick of Storm Surge out of it, right? And that's going to be a very difficult thing for them. You can see Falls, Tiberius, Semental, they stomped through, you know, this Retail Road fight. Unfortunately for them, they didn't have the best of games, but you know, if these fights are going to go down this quickly every single game, it's going to be really hard for the team trying to capitalize and get Surge off of it.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what's one of the beauty things. They can keep winning off spawn. They can keep climbing up the leaderboards. One bad game, you know, they got 11 left. It's not going to be the end of the world. But this is how the standings end up. Look after that first game. Vadil, Noah, and Aqua on height on the leaderboard as well. 50 points. You know, I will say, when it came to their team, obviously excluding Aqua last season, they also won game 1. They also won game 1 of the finals last season and then slowed down. So I don't want to see that. I want to see them keep on moving and keep on up there at that top.
Yeah, 100%, man. You look at the teams on this page, and a lot of them really impressed me. Joe, Benji, and Shadow, you know, sitting in 7th there, they had a really good game. I saw a lot from them that showed to me that, look, maybe this is a better team than the one we've seen in previous weeks, and then specifically the qualifier 1 week where they've, you know, came first place. Really looking forward to seeing how they do. Let's take a look at the next page, sorry, as we look at 11th to 20th. You know, you ain't got to panic if you're on this page yet, but you do got to take a look at things and go, okay, what do we got to do better, right? Seti, Cammy, and Teak, a team who I sort of thought maybe would have a super day today, and I think they still can, right, Reese? But they got to pick things up.
Yeah, I mean, for them, they've placed 12th with 2 elims, and, you know, characteristically a little bit lower on the elimination side, but, you know, a 12th is actually a pretty bad game for them, given how consistent they are and getting top 10s, top 5s, and things like that. So for them, that is, you know, not necessarily the telltale sign of their day and how it'll go. But realistically, you said, you know, you don't have to panic if you're on the second page. And, you know, you got like 9 games left before you got to panic if you're on that second page, depending on how far behind you get, obviously, at the same time. So realistically, like, these teams are ready to go. Like, let's just get into game 2. Come on.
Well, Reese, as you can see by the timer, we're pretty much ready to go. My goodness, can't forget, Fortnite fam, we got 5 more games ahead of us, another 6 tomorrow, 2-day format. So see how this continues to unfold. Aqua's back, boys. That's my takeaway. Shia Wager, Sancho West, back over to you guys.
Everyone is here in EU looking to take over hype, but yeah, with Aqua, Vadil, Noah, Riley, Sancho, does anyone really have a chance?
we've seen them. I think the death said it best. Relentless. They are. Hey, you think normally you go down, boom, that's it. They're going to be on the ground forever. But no, we've seen just as a duo, Aqua and Noah Riley, continuously just poking at it. It's like a boxer, you know, they're getting those jabs in, bop, bop, all of a sudden, boom, overhand haymaker coming from height, taking out the rest of the lobby. So that's a very exciting start for all those people that are Noah Riley, Vidil, and Aqua fans. The thing is, can they keep up the pace? We saw last season, of course, this is a new team, but we saw last season with Vidil, Noah Riley, and Reason, they're trying to keep up that pace, and all of a sudden they had to change their strategies for day two. But here it is. That was, hey, you talked about pads. They needed that pad just to get on the right side here at Misty Meadows, but this is one of these engagements that we're going to have to keep an eye on between the two French trios.
Absolutely. They're going to be starting a little bit further away from each other, usually on two different sides, but everyone is here on the Meadows side of Misty. Floki with a nice combination of items to be able to start that fight, but note that when you're starting so close to another trio, mats are going to be so low on both sides. Every single ramp floor you place has to be done with the utmost intent for it to be used efficiently and just recycled by your whole team as well. Big explosion all the way through to X Squeeze, but nothing actually lands. He's gonna get rat-a-tatted by a few bullets, has to stay down. Andalex also waiting through. We saw Andalex take out Falconly's trio before over here. Floki, Clement, Deceptos, they'll alter the way they land down. Really want to challenge this one, and Floki's pushing forward.
This is definitely a lot cleaner engagement that we've been seeing from Floki, Clement, Deceptos in previous qualifiers and semifinals. It would just basically be going for a 50-50 on floor loot. But this just means, hey, good thing that zone is going to be here. They could definitely fight here a little bit longer, but whoever survives this is going to mess up their rotation so much here. Normally, these trios like to dip down south here and pick on that trio and or go all the way north to go up to the gorgeous gorge to get some Storm Surge tags, but that's not going to happen when you have two strong trios fighting it out at Misty Meadows.
Now, have to recuperate things as well. You'll see the ebb and flow of this fight. Everyone will be trying to push forward, deal as much damage as possible. Big swings towards builds, big pinches, but then if it doesn't work out, they'll back up. They'll have to reform, giving the other team a chance. It's kind of like we're watching a card game back and forth. But depending on how many resources you save up, right, you could just stay up and have a huge swing that surprises the team. Right now, Clement, Deceptos, Floki, kind of going back and forth. The energy's at a medium level, but right below them, a trap might be set.
Man, that was kind of scary right there. Squeeze, I feel like I was watching a scary movie. I was like, Squeeze behind you, there's Clement, he's there. But obviously he heard them. But as we're seeing the trades back and forth, like you mentioned, already we're seeing Corny Complex going blow for blow. We're seeing the, some of the trios that went down early are now back on their feet. So that's what's going to happen. Instead of 12, you may go down one, but next game you come back. But that's what happens on these contested drops. They could basically tie. I mean, some of these trios are just, it just comes down to what do they have? What kind of power weapons do they have? What kind of resources do they find? Do they find a llama? And that's what we're going to see, just like here, down here in Retail Row. And that is actually Trixie's trio coming all the way from Caddy Corner, sticking their nose into the Retail Row's business.
Yeah, these are two teams who are basically on offense at the same time. That means everyone on both sides will be taking lots of damage. Sai already down to 12 HP, popping bandages, waiting for his teammate to be able to build a little bit above him. I think they've gotten one elimination here so far, so it will be a little bit of an advantage for this team, but at the same time at a big cost. Sai almost out of mats. I would assume his teammates are kind of the same way, and no, they actually get Jaggy back up. He's ready to fight Tens and Trixie. They're looking to make this more than just a final reboot round win. That's not going to be their legacy today. They want to do a little bit more, and they'll try to in reboot Jaggy, but they'll try to in the finals. Jaggy with a big shot. Sai looking to return the favor, but he gets clapped from the side. This is going to be tricky. Now these guys are basically put down to just two builds, and they're on fire. Zebre goes down on those wooden pyramids. This is just trouble. Miknap, I believe, has also been knocked, and boom, that's 3. That's what you call a slow burn. Jaggy, Tens, and Trixie went out Retail Row.
Can you imagine surviving a fire and getting clothesline, or as soon as you get a breath of fresh air? And Floki here with a great positional advantage and a squeeze with a look at that angle, just a barely seen. It hits Floki just for a little bit. Now Clement and Floki are going to try to use this high ground just to hold on as much as possible to keep cranking to height here, because they know that they're just going to keep getting pulled down from Andalex's trio, but still the headshot potential is here if they have this height here. An explosion rings on down below, and Alexis Trio may be looking to chop this structure down.
Yeah, what Xweez and Alex 4-0 were doing this entire time is waiting for Floki, Clement, and Siptos to make a mistake. They're playing defense the whole way through. They've got the Siptos based off that.
Wow.
And they've got all the builds, 80 fall damage to Floki, a 92 shot, and then another bop. He's down. Up to Clement now in a 1v3. He gets no trades, and he gets taken out too. That's just a textbook breakdown. I think 4ZR was the cost of that, so Clement got a little bit in that trade, but they played excellent defense. They were looking for every angle to take a few shots, reserve the mats, and then had their big swing at the end and won Misty Meadows again.
What a great use of the elements right there to get that fire. You talk about the cost of 4ZR, but yo, they put 4ZR on a credit card. All of a sudden, hey, I got you. Yeah, I'm going to come back here, and here comes 4ZR. So that's definitely going to be the first time I would say that went head. Whoa.
There's going to be another team flying right by our skill. He's looking for it, and they hear that reboot. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. They know it's a 2v3 and one person's a little bit hurt, so they'll dive in for that reason. Taste and Vino, though, outside of Believer Beach, they're looking to get their storm tags up, get their fight started, and right now they're going full force. Another big shot from Reason. Doesn't actually have the follow through. Usually it's always active, but look at it. 3 different angles of engagement. He's blocking every single one, and Tayson's there to be able to pinch with Vino. Everyone is so reactive to be able to be exactly where they need to be. Save their teammates, be at the angles to get free shots. FSI might have got one good tag in, but now he's in trouble. Surprise, surprise, is down as well. Now the hunt down comes through, and this is how you do top tier aggression. Floki tried it in Misty Meadows. The pinches weren't there. The damage never came through for Reason, Tayson, Vino. That wasn't the case. This is perfect offense.
If you're just tuning in, this is not game 1. That's game 2. Yes, they're just getting their first points here in the FNCS Chapter 2 Season 7. And hey, I thought they didn't want a piece, but Child looks like they did want a piece. They take a big piece of 4ZR. Now, Andalex, the next week's here, no shields, and they're going to have to use the way of the gun and their expertise to work through this. As Xweez goes down, the toes were just right then and there, and they've been fully eliminated. What a great third party from Expert coming down from the mountains. Basically, they heard the yodels, and they went on down. They just added to the band a little polka dance there.
Tenzin also picked apart by Pink and Stompy, but right there, Misty Meadows, that's the cost of playing defense for so long. Yes, you can win your fight, and it can go really well, but it costs so much time, and time is not something that's free when it comes to the grand, or the finals.
Yeah, speaking of time, you want to be out of there by 6 minutes. Traditionally, if you look at all the VOD reviews, normally trios from Misty Meadows, they're already gone by 6 minutes. They loot that up and they're gone. When you take that time, you said it, it gives the other trios to make their moves. And the game plan at 104. What, talk about a game plan with the hand cannon. Bang, that's a good hit right there. That's going to put the high alert on that blue antenna team on Patrick. But the point is, what I'm saying is, when you're looking at time is a huge factor, a delay, resources to mat up, and engagement at a drop spot. When you get delayed, all of a sudden, that just allows other people to kind of move the chess pieces. It's like you always say, this is a game of chess, but imagine not being able to move while other people are making their moves around you. And that's what happened to Analex's trio.
People can take multiple turns, flip the rules on their heads, but now we'll see exactly what happens in game 3 for a lot of them. We're still on game 2. Pink picking up and Stompy picking up an Elim each, so their mid game is going absolutely great. And we're gonna move off, make sure to refarm the brick that's available that they've used in a couple fights. Those early fights are not over yet though. Sean, Andy, Chashi also making it through game 1 of the reboot. Andy with a crazy clutch now in the finals. In this mid-game fight, this might not be what they're used to doing. It might just be end-game expertise from this trio, but they're gonna have to win here at Coney Complex 2. There's a timer on this fight, Sancho. A minute 50 is when this next zone is gonna start moving in, and they have a long journey ahead of them. This is not gonna be somewhere they want to spend too much time.
Yeah, in the EU region, you already have people already standing there on the storm line. Sean VP's trio, you talked about it, had by far one of the best weeks for an FNCS trio. They won the Cash Cup, then later they went to the reboot round and qualified, like you mentioned, in a very highlight way. And hey, if you're wondering out there, people of the, Fortnite universe, where's Benji? Where's Shadow? Where's Joe? They've already been eliminated. Red Rush, Mappies, and Stereos already took care of that. So someone with a high place finish. And that's another thing that you have to put a feather in your caps there is drop spot contention. You get through once, you don't. It's the inconsistencies that you work your way through. But Mappy, Red Rush, and Stereos, they were contested throughout the entire qualifiers. They got in by holding on.
Absolutely. This is another player that holds on to Dako on screen, who used to be called Scally when we were watching him in those semifinals. right? This man played so well. Shout out to him for switching that name too. 100%, that's what we're looking for. One of the first instances, you know, getting that branding there for the finals. And what was huge for this man is, yeah, as a solo, he's so good at identifying exactly where to be when it comes to playing heal off, when it comes to choosing the best paths. And now in finals, that decision making will be put to the ultimate test.
And shout out to Chatsy. I see you out there. You used to be L2 Archer Chatsy. Now you're back to your own self. That's what we want to see. Let us help you. You know, we're here to give you the spotlight. This is your stage, brother. And Doku is definitely going to be that man. He is the main actor here for this trio. And I've been just interesting. I mean, Flecken and Diablo, old trio mates, kind of trading back and forth there at the Shark and out there in the Fort Crumpet here. But Sapphic Patrick, just not enough. Man, every time I VOD review and I said, is it possible for Sapphic Trio to do anything out of Dirty Docks? And I just didn't see it. Anytime a zone pulled north all the way to the West Coast, they struggled. And now that you have this quality of the lobby as Hen, Genesis, Chapix, who definitely see those struggles, look at this aggressive rotation. They came all the way from Craggy. Instead of going down straight to the center like they normally do, they're rotating right in front of Default's path. And look at this, Mawaka's here too.
They're confident fighters, and they need to get into engagements to stay ahead of Surge. 246 damage above. This is their game plan. I don't think they accounted, though, for so many teams to roll in. Now there's more, I think, than 3 up in this fight, or it might just be 3 teams. This is where it kind of gets, you know, a little bit cumbersome to try to control everything that's happening. You have too many different parties, so many different brains operating at the same time. So Hen, Janice, Chapix, I stay here for a bit, maybe bully the trio in between, but then leave after the fact.
I just have to say this. Last FNCS, they were contested. They didn't have to worry about Storm Surge. Now you're seeing their Storm Surge plans in effect here, and it's getting them in troubled waters.
I mean, they were experts at fighting off the spot. They're experts now at fighting in that mid game too. Just saw a big projectile fly by. Not sure who's throwing those jars and has an arm that can throw things that far, but we'll watch exactly what's going on down here at base. Chapix looking for another way to come in. Looks like they're just controlling the complete backside of this. So no matter what team they're fighting, they're keeping the entire fight in front of them. No pinches as a result. They get to keep all their firepower on the same line. It's genius to basically control 2 teams, making them into one.
Yeah, Zest and Trio, they're coming in. They're about to pinch in right here. And give you a little bit to the right side of the screen. That was the Loot Boys. They were pushing into that engagement. And now we're taking a look at Tayson, Reason, and Vino. And Reason has already been knocked in this fight. I'm just quite surprised. I need to know what happened to this trio in game 1. I've seen Hijo, like I mentioned, that pinch was there. They pick up Janice and get a knock.
It's the cost for going for damage. I feel like these 3, although that amazing fight in that first game, now when they're kind of in the home zone looking for some place to just defend at the same time, it's like very tough for them to get from one fight to the next, to be able to deal damage unscathed completely. People will get knocked here or there. Okay, I thought that was someone they were boxing in towards the top. This teammate rolling down like, wow, that was really fast. Genius. All good. Hen, Janice. Do I even see Chapix right now? They might have gotten in trouble all the way back on the zone line. He's reviving him right now, and Janice is down. This is trouble again.
The saving grace of this moment is Mawaka's trio, who did disengage, did it like a Yui when they saw the feed, and they came back into this fight. Hijo, now paying attention to the other side, gets a knock on Andy here. Surprise, Hen gets a tag there to let him know. But that may be one of those tags that maybe you don't throw right there, because now you let the other trios know that there's one person there. Short pad. Gets right in front of Default. Default doesn't see them, and Hen, he's gonna have to be the solo star to carry this trio again, and we're gonna see not a great point total in the second game for the Hen boys.
Look at Chapix, 1 HP. He had to go way back into the storm because he didn't half pad that launch. So now trying to catch up with Hen, trying to be on the same page. He's at literally a sliver of HP. So it's a 0 on the actual.
How is that possible?
It's a fraction of that 1 HP. This man is living when he's not supposed to. And one shot will take him out. He has to play perfect here. And look at that, a purple bump down to 15 shields. Lobby focus. He gets through. Is waiting for Floki coming to simple. Man, Chapix, I mean, defying the laws of Fortnite, staying alive right there.
Okay. Wow. I can't believe Hen Genesis